Welcome to another beer release at Canal Place. This one's kind of a treat. It's one of those beers that we brewed early on in the valley, and we never thought to scale it up at Canal Place. Things got crazy. We had these beers picked out. I mean, we brewed a lot of different beers. We have a lot of names. And this being one of the classics, it totally escaped us. And I'm like, okay, we've got to get our 2021 distribution calendar spec'd out for the entire year. I need to fill these beer slots with beers, many of which we haven't scaled up yet. Came across this one because we use on tap, so we mine lots of damn, like Chocolate Coffee Stout. It's been a staple in the valley since 2016. So that's what we did. So the name Chocolate Coffee Stout, it's as simple as that. This is not like one of our double New Englands or our Gozas or a pastry stout. It's just a 6.5% ABV stout with Pearl Coffee Beans Ohio Chocolate Surprise. And that's it. A real easy drinker. The beans really come through. Its stats are, like I said, 6.5%. It's got 65 IBUs. You guys think, oh, that sounds too bitter, but with IBUs, you gotta be careful. With stouts, 65 IBUs isn't really a lot. It's just enough to balance the roasty or chocolatey malts that we have in there. It just brings everything together. And it's got a 4.01 on tap with 2,315 check-ins. So like I said, we first brewed this in the Valley January of 2016. It was batch number 83. We're on batch 600 to 700 right now. And the last time we brewed it was January 2020. So we did this about 23 times in the Valley until we brought it here for this release. Now, is there any different process that we use in this? I sometimes talk about the process in the Gozas or the double New Englands. But for this one, there's a few key differences. Most stouts, you've got your base malts, your brewer's malt, your pale ale, your pilsner, and then you have your specialty malts like your crystals, and then your chocolate malts, and then roasted barley. Roasted barley is usually a key specialty malt for stouts. It gives a roasty character. It can be a little bit acrid depending on how much you use. You never want to use more than a 5–10% tops. A good basic dry stout recipe uses 10% roasted barley, but that's where the difference is in. For this stout, we wanted the coffee to shine, we wanted it smooth, so we pulled back the roasted barley to 0, and we upped the chocolate malts, because we need something to give it the darkness, to make it a stout. Crystal malts will get you a little bit there, but we need the black malts, the chocolates and the roasted barleys to give it its color. So we axed the roasted barley, bumped up the chocolate malts to, we've been experimenting between 7 and 9%. This one's actually 9%. So a fair amount of chocolate malts in this. And to keep its mouthfeel, we mashed in at a higher temperature, 155. That gives us those residual sugars that don't ferment out, gives us its mouthfeel so it doesn't go too dry. And the crystal malts, we use about 6% crystal 80 and 6% crystal 120. They add some color, but they also give the unfermentable sugars. They give it the background, the backbone, the body to the beer, and contributes to mouthfeel. So that's the process of this beer. It's fairly simple, easy fermenter. It doesn't give us problems on brew day. So I already smell the coffee from here. There's no air movement in here. This is a blind room. So you know it's good. So, pours great, nice head. You get the coffee right there. So if you're a coffee lover, this is a great beer. Oh, and it's so smooth. And I'm just not saying that again. This is a great beer. It gets a 4.01 on tap. That's an average 6.5 ABV stout for a reason. No, and unlike a lot of our Twitchies or our pastry stouts that we put out that do have residual, you notice the sugar, but it's for the style. This, it does not have that. So if you don't like the extra sweetness that some of the Twitchies or some of the pastry stouts brings, this, and you like coffee, this is your beer. We made this for you. Real light, easy drinker. Like I said, at 6.5%, you could just keep pounding these. But let's finish up with the food pairings and the cheese pairings. So I've eaten around 4 o'clock. It's about 8 o'clock now. I am super hungry. Roasted or smoked foods, oysters. I love oysters. Rich stew. So wintertime, a great time for rich stews. This will pair well with it. This, not being a heavy body drinker, will go with the rich stew to cut the richness of the stew. Cheese pairings, I'm not going to say these right, and I haven't had any of them. Comte, C-O-M-T-E, and Gruyere. I think I said that right, G-R-U-Y-E-R-E. These are suggested cheese pairings for this stout. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy. One thing I forgot to mention, and it's very important, but I gotta put this in at the end. Don't age this beer. Don't sit on it more than 3 to 4 months tops. This has got coffee in it. You know from drinking coffee that if it sits around, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Coffee just fades and just turns meh. So this is an awesome beer, fresh, within. If you remember Jamaican Me Crazy, that was fresh and awesome for about the first 3 to 4 months, and then it started fading. And being a lower ABV, you don't really want to sit on it anyway and age it, but just a word of caution. You can keep it in your fridge for a couple of months, it'll be fine, but don't forget about Chocolate Coffee Stout.